If your home environment is negative, you do not have to become negative. But I'm not looking at society standards. It is your choice to choose how you perceive your circumstances. Alrighty, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so today we're talking about living at home. I am 25 years old. I graduated high school and went to community college for 2 years, transferred to a 4-year university. I commuted to school. It's like 30 minutes by taking tolls, so I just decided to go that route. Currently, I'm in my master's program and I'm a speech therapist working at an elementary school. I also should add, I am first generation, so my parents are from Haiti. We've got some, cultural dynamics going in there too. I also am the middle child, so my older brother has moved out and my younger sister has gone away to school. So middle child, but last man standing. So interesting dynamics, but I'm pretty sure you can relate or have similar different experiences. Either way, we're all living at home. If you're watching this video, I assume you're living at home. I just hope that this video can be encouraging to you in your season, no matter what that looks like, and that I can just bring some inspiration and things that I'm learning. And don't mind the congestion going on. As I said, I work at an elementary school as a speech therapist, so I get sick pretty frequently because those kids are lovely, but gross. For whatever reason the case might be, your plans didn't pan out the way that you expected, and so when that happens, there's kind of like a shift almost in your dreams and following your timeline of getting married, moving out, having kids. Then you start to think that everything else will kind of not be the same. And I think that's a pretty dangerous road to go down. When we're able to see our circumstances and grow from it, build a stronger mindset, that is key. And I think that's what God is trying to do in this season for you. And we just are oh no, if I move out, everything will be fixed. I will be able to be independent and I can do whatever I want when I want, and I'll just be an adult. It's just, that's the solution. But reality, you're not financially there yet, mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. So that's why we need to learn how to be content in this season. Not saying that we're gonna stay home forever. Not saying that you're not actively working on yourself so that you can move out in 6 months to a year from now. We don't realize the amount of growth that can happen when you change your perspective. I have this quote here by Viktor Frankl. If you guys know his story, he survived the Holocaust, and he has this quote that really puts things in perspective, because right now you're struggling with just living at home. This man was struggling with the fact that his family was taken away from him, he's living in a camp, and his life is grim, he doesn't know what his future is like, but every day while he was at the camp, he was visioning what he wanted. He wanted to be a professor, and he said this: "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." This man survived the worst of the worst. If you are living at home and you are frustrated, we have the mental ability to change our perspective about the circumstance. Okay? You have the ability to see what positives and where you can grow in this season. What's the vision that you're holding on to? What are you meditating on? These things are very important. What is your mind? In the book, he talked about other people that were there. They became hopeless. All of their thoughts were negative. Everything that they were saying is negative. And granted, man, you just got ripped out of your life, your home, and now you're in this internment camp and you don't know, this could be your last day walking on earth. Yeah, it makes sense to be negative. Nobody can touch, nobody can take away, not your parents, siblings, not your friends or society. Nobody can take this away from you. It's your choice to choose how you perceive your circumstances. You can change your attitude towards the circumstances. Sometimes you feel man, this is it, but no, you can change your mindset. You can change your perspective on them. And when I think of Viktor Frankl, I also think of Paul. Paul was an amazing missionary. He was going to different countries, and he had experienced shipwreck. He had experienced, people trying to kill him just for sharing the gospel. And he said, "I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all of this through Him who gives me strength." I think the superpower of building like mental strength is being able to find contentment wherever you are, no matter what your circumstances are. All you really need is Christ. He gives you the strength to get through every single circumstance that you have. But once you realize that you have all that you need, you're able to face every single trial and circumstance that comes in your life with that like contentment, and that's going to give you the motivation and the willpower to get out of it, you know, because when we are stuck in these negative thoughts and we let them just ruin and like build a nest on top of your head. A thought is like a bird, like you can let it pass or you can let it build a nest on your head and lay eggs and just multiply. You have the ability to take a thought captive and redirect it. So my church has been like honestly been doing one of the best series that I've ever heard. It's basically Old Testament Bible characters, and I know we hear about them and they just become so stale to us. When you like listen to these stories and you think about these were real people and like the lessons that you can learn from these stories, it's amazing. Anyways, Daniel. I wish I could get the facts right because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Y'all, I'm no Bible theologian. I'm just gonna tell you how it is, how I remember it, okay? So Daniel is standing firm in his convictions despite what's going on around him. He's standing firm, praying 3 times a day, despite the decree that said whoever would pray to anybody except the king, which I believe was King Darius, anybody that prayed to like any other god would be thrown in the lion's den. Now Daniel could have said, you know what, God, I've been praying to you for the past 10 years. I think these next 30 days, I'm just gonna take a break. Or he could have said, let me just go in my closet, close the door, ain't nobody gonna see me, and I'll still pray. But no, he stood firm in his conviction, and he continued to pray 3 times a day, okay? And I think that, you know, just in today's culture, we assimilate to the culture, we assimilate to the circumstances around us. If everybody's negative, we're gonna be negative. And it's like, hold up. You do not have to assimilate to the people around you. If your home environment is negative, you do not have to become negative. It's called mental strength. It's called building up mental fortitude, right? If everybody's negative, you can kind of internalize that and then become it. But I think what God is trying to do in this season for you is to teach you that you can stand firm in your hope, in your joy, in your kindness, and the fruits of the Spirit, no matter where you are. If it's at home with your family that's dysfunctional, or if it's in an apartment with roommates that are dysfunctional. Wherever your circumstance is, you have to realize that these skills and this character development isn't going to happen in isolation. It's going to happen with people around you in relationships. Lastly, you are not a victim. I feel like our generation has become the greatest victims to our parents and our upbringings and our environments, and I get it. I'm not saying that like my parents are perfect and my upbringing was perfect and nothing traumatic ever happened to me. I definitely had some rough things, okay? So I get it, I get that, go to therapy, but I think that we have to work on not being such victim blamers, because when it's our parents' fault for the way that we are, we're never going to take responsibility for these things. If it's always somebody else's fault, parents, society, social media, and you're never doing some inner reflection, you're never going to grow. Yes, you can admit that your parents probably weren't the best at X, Y, and Z, whatever, but what is in your control? I heard that there's like this AA prayer when you do Alcoholics Anonymous, where it's like, God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That right there is realizing that there are just some things in life where people feel like they were dealt a wrong hand, like it's not fair, like life is not fair, like you could be doing the right thing. And that's kind of what my last sermon was saying about Daniel. Like, you could be doing the right thing. He was praying 3 times a day. What ended up happening? He still got thrown in the lion's den. But When you do what God asks you to do and you do it faithfully, you do it without grumbling, he sees that and you will have his favor. And having God's favor is the best hand that you could have in life. When you have God's favor, he will take care of you. He sees the injustice. He sees what you are going through. You are not alone. Like, everything that you do, like, if you honor your parents, you work on that peace and that, like, mental fortitude, you become so strong mentally and you become so wise and more like Christ, which is the goal, right? The goal of our Christian walk is to become more like Christ. When we allow ourselves to be molded into this through hard relationships, hard conversations, a lot of walking away from arguments even when you're right, like, all of this stuff is building you up. And God sees that. It doesn't go unseen. And sister, brother, you will be blessed. Having God's favor is the best hand that you can have in life. Repeat this with me. Having God's favor is the best hand that I can have in life. Life will be unfair. There are things that you're going to do right where you feel like, why am I still at home? Why is this person getting that? Why is that person getting that? And feeling like, oh, I chose a career to work with children. I will never be rich. Here on this side of heaven, I might not ever be rich or make six figures or whatever the case may be, but I'm not looking at society standards. What I'm looking at is my God standards for my life. I know that I will have riches in heaven because of the things that I'm sowing here. And the same for you, sister or brother. If you are doing things at home, like taking care of your siblings, and you just feel behind and you feel like everybody else gets to live their own life and you just feel so unseen, so unheard, I want you to know that God will make it right. Trust in him, put your faith in him, have patience. He will make it right. Nothing that goes unseen by him. And he is a good father and he cares and he loves for you. Don't give up. Don't fail in waiting on him. His timing is perfect. And when that time comes for you to go, for you to move out, you will be such a stronger person because of this season. It's hard. Every season's hard. And honestly, I feel like seasons are just gonna get harder. If we look at this season with mindset change, perspective change, God will do great things for you. You will grow. It will be good. And I didn't even talk about financial stuff yet, because I really think that the mindset is the foundation of everything else. When you change your mindset, then you're going to be able to be more motivated in saving and finding a better job or whatever the steps that you need to take to practically live these things out so that you can take the next step in life. That will come. But I think the first thing that is the most important is your mindset. So I pray that you will change your mindset towards this season and see the positives in it, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.